Hello and welcome to episode 1091 of The Sleeper and the Bust. It is Tuesday, August 23rd. I'm your host, Paul Sporer, joined this morning by Justin Mason. Justin, good morning.
Good morning. How you doing?
I'm quite well. How about yourself?
I'm doing all right. Up a little late last night, so still kind of waking up. But you and I had a lively discussion about standings and how we get gain points in certain leagues that we got, so we can try to take down some championships, win some money.
Standings are your only focus right now. No more best player available. If the player is not pulling his weight toward the cause, do not pick him up. I don't care if he's a good player. If you're 20 homers again ahead of your next spot, don't pick up the home run hitter. Look for the steals guy or whatever your standings are telling you. But this is the time. We are standings heavy. We were talking about how you're in a big battle in tout. We are in a huge battle in our main, even though where you are, like you're not as high as you were at 13th. The points are all still there.
Yeah,
you could easily catch me. Like easily, I'm 19 points clear.
I'm going to catch you. I am going to catch you.
You're not. You're not going to finish third to my second, and that's totally chill.
Oh, I'm fine.
Scott's going to win. I don't want to have a loser mentality. It's just going to be really, really hard to catch Scott. He got his perfect player, Dustin May. It couldn't be more perfect. He has 32 pitching points, 72 hitting. The only guy that could have helped us was the last place team, and he's been playing. He's keeping things, and he could have gone big for May, and it would have been perfectly with. There's another topic we were talking about offline that's perfectly within his right. If you're griping about last place teams bettering themselves and like bidding on guys, you're a loser. Don't do that. People can play however they want, play out the season as long as they're not doing anything that's cheating. It's totally game. But anyway, that was just the perfect pickup for Scott, and it's going to be really, really tough to catch him in that league, but you better believe that I'm going to use every bit of this last month plus to do so. And maybe some of these guys that we talk about today will be instrumental in that. We're going to do a little bit of news and notes going around some of the amazing pitching performances yesterday. Yesterday, if you bet an over in any game, you're broke. You're absolutely broke, unless it was the very first game, the one where I had both pitchers, Kopech and Daniel Lynch. So I had a great start to my day because it was a random Monday afternoon game too. We don't get a lot of those. And I was like, okay, my fantasy night in the main is already wrecked. Cole Reagans and Jeffrey Springs did their best to soften that blow, but it wasn't much. So let's get into some news. Then we're going to talk about some notable power outages from this year. And Justin, I want to get your thoughts on what you're looking at with them 2023 wise. Obviously, there's a month that could change. In fact, the very first guy on that list is on fire. He could totally flip his season, but some of these other ones are going to have a hard time, and their outlook is going to be different next year. So I'm curious where you stand. But first, let's hit these news and notes. Byron Buxton having an MRI on his hip. I'll avoid all the tired jokes about how he always gets hurt. Like we know, and that's just kind of part of the deal here. He also has a nagging right knee ailment. He's obviously not going to turn on any steals the rest of the way. He already doesn't have very many, but Buxton just isn't going to run that much. How do you feel about where Buxton is right now? 28 homers, 6 steals, 224 average. He's making up for it with the other stuff there, but they're in a major race too. So they want to play him as much as they can. Are you worried about Buxton's production down the stretch, given that he is on now 2 nagging injuries?
Oh yeah, I mean you've got to be. I know the Twins are in the middle of a playoff race. They also have this guy signed to a long-term contract now. They're gonna be conservative with him rest of the way. Like I don't see any other way around it. And like I know you don't want to jump up and down on the injury thing, and I'll try to avoid it for a little part.
Well, I'm just saying, like we know, though. All I mean by that is like it's been done to death. Like he is an injury-prone guy.
Even if you throw out the injuries, like I know he's got like 26 home runs or something like that.
Yeah, 28. But you're going to hit on the average, right?
He's been bad. Like he has not been good.
It's 224, dude. It is tough. I agree.
And like people are going to be like,
sorry.
Yeah, people are going to be like, oh, Buxton has like a really low BABIP. Yeah, his XBA is like 240. Like, so yes, he's been a little bit unlucky, but he's still just been bad. He's not like Joey Gallo in New York bad, but he's not that far off.
So we would have to analyze this because I don't know. So I'm kind of doing an idea here. Do we think that this tracks like with his health? Because April he comes out Buxton puts up a 1069 OPS and 6 homers, off to the races. Goes down to a 610 in May with a 164 BABIP, but also 5 homers. Spikes back up to a 1068 with 9 homers in June. And then since then, he's been about a 750 OPS in July and August with 8 total homers, 6 in July, 2 in August. So if we track the injuries, do you think this ebbs and flows with his health?
Not really, because May, that down month was, or that first down month was the only month where he struck out like under 29% of the time.
Okay.
Like, I mean,
then that one probably is the bad luck thing then, because the 164 BABIP is pretty.
Yeah.
common.
So, but I mean, at the same time, it's like, this is a dude who strikes out close to 30% of the time. Like, you're going to have massive ups and downs. And I think one of the things, like the truthers that were drafting him in the second and third round of drafts back in March, were like, you're going to get power, you're going to get speed, he'll stay healthy one day. Aside from the health portion of it for Buxton, is like, he is a streaky guy when he is healthy.
Yeah.
And like, I don't understand.
And you've only gotten 6 steals.
And I was just about to say that he does not run at the same rate as he did, probably because of the injuries, right?
Yeah,
he probably wants to stay on the field. Yeah.
Here's his day-to-day injuries this year: knee, hand, hip, knee. Always the same knee too. Right knee on both of those. The hip injury and then the right hand. So I mean,
following Byron Buxton is like getting an advanced degree in anatomy.
You really learn a lot of different things about how the body operates and what's connected. So let me ask you this. Let's spin it forward.
Mm-hmm.
Where are you at for next year? Because let's just kind of keep him on his trajectory here. Let's say it's not an explosive September, but it's a solid one. He ends up with 34 homers. So that's 6 more the rest of the way. Well, I'll say 36. We'll give him 8 more the rest of the way. 3 more steals. So mid-30s.
He's not going to steal 3 more, but okay.
I mean, probably not. You're right.
Yeah.
We'll say none. Keep it at 6, because I really don't think the difference between 6 and 9 would matter.
Which is crazy,
anyway.
because he stole a base the day he got hurt.
That's right. Yeah. So I have no idea. Yeah. Well, let's go with 0. He gets the batting average up to like 235. He has a little bit of an average spike. What would you be doing? Where are you taking Buxton next year? Are you not getting him because people are going to take him too high? Or do you think there'll be an opportunity?
Because this will be the modesty question, right? That we have every year is there will still be people who are like, he's a 3rd round pick. Oh, you're getting him in the 4th round. He's a steal. Like he's not a steal. Like,
but I hear you. They're going to say it. You're right, though. I'm not disputing what you're saying. I'm disputing the idea that would not be a steal like Mondesi. That's a great comp for Buxton here.
If you took his name off of it, you'd be like, okay, a guy who can hit you 30, maybe 35 home runs, he's going to hit 250 maybe, and he is going to steal, 5+ bases. That's a 7th, 8th rounder.
Yeah.
Right.
Will he go that late though?
Now, and that doesn't even include the injury history, right?
Exactly.
Buxton, so like now you throw the injury history. Yeah.
And listen, I'm always one to say, like, more with pitchers, to be honest, but like, injuries, if the talent's in place, take a guy, he could spike the big injury or the big health season. I usually say that with somebody who's actually done it before, though. Like, hey, he could get back to that health. We've seen it once and not even fully. It was still only 511 plate appearances for Buxton back in 2017. So it's like he doesn't even have the one season that you can point to and say, I mean, I guess that's the one. It was 16 homers, 29 steals, but the best you got is barely over 500 plate appearances. He's going to be 29 next year for Buxton. I love the player. I root for him, but I don't know about fantasy next year. I don't think I'm drafting him.
For a potential production standpoint, so this is not a like type of player comp necessarily, but end of season line potential. Like how much different is he than like Austin Meadows, who's going to be virtually free next year? I just got him in the 50th round or 51st round of my 3-sport draft. Like,
he'll be remarkably cheap.
And I know he missed pretty much the entire season this year, and he's, and so that's definitely going to weigh down his price. But like when you like do the line, you're going to probably project 400 plate appearances for both guys. Mm-hmm. They're both, could potentially hit, high 20s to low 30s home runs. They're going to steal maybe a handful of bases, and you have to worry about how much time they're going to miss. Like give, everybody's going to be drafting Buxton, but I'll take Meadows in the 26th round instead.
So the game changer here, of course, is Buxton's steals. And what can we realistically project for that? There is a world, and I can envision where he does randomly stay healthy and goes, 40-20 and wins leagues. But the likelihood of that outcome seems like the 5% outcome right now for Buxton. And we've seen this many a times before. As guys age, become more power guys, they stop running as much. You throw in a guy who's been hurt as much as Buxton too, and it makes even more sense to stop running. So I don't know. We'll assess where he's going in drafts, but as it stands right now, based on what I know of Buxton's reputation in the fantasy market, I'd be really surprised if I got him anywhere. And I've been a believer.
But let's be honest, like if you could take a shot on Buxton. You see him there in the 4th round or 5th round, you go, I think this is the year he's going to stay healthy. He's going to get back to running, maybe close to the clip that he did in that one season. What was it, 2017, where he stole almost 30 bases. I believe, right? It really should mean that is your one big gamble, right?
Yeah.
The problem is people who draft a guy like that is never their one big gamble.
That's true, because they're open to taking those types of players. So they end up like with 3. And I shouldn't say they, I should say we, because
sure. I've done it. I took Mondesi in the 4th round of the Triple Play League, but those things compile on each other. Especially this year has been so bad with injuries. Last year was so bad with injuries. Then 2020 was COVID. Like there's you just can't take that risk that early and expect not to run into a pile of other injuries. Take the risk late. Take the risk where you go, okay, I'm going to take the risk in the 20th round or, after that, because I know if the injury comes, I have no problem dropping it. I don't need to hold this guy on my roster. If I, especially even leagues with IL, like you're going to have that IL filled up. Like I don't care how, unless you have unlimited IL, which most leagues don't. You're just going to have,
because you will deplete the waiver pool so badly.
So just don't do it.
Yeah, I totally agree. And with Buxton, it's becoming an increasingly difficult situation with Mondesi too. And it's like, I was out on the Mondesi train for the most part this year. Buxton really, really pushed up, so it was difficult to go for him.
Mondesi's going to be the buy next year.
Where do you think he's going to go? You think he'll finally be cheap?
No, what? Someone's gonna drive it up, aren't they? I mean, he should be outside the top 150.
I was gonna say he's gonna be a top 10 round guy. You think?
But there will, if he's running. I mean, I think it really depends on if the Royals, non-tender him or not, right? If because he is, the kind of guy that, like in fantasy, he provides a lot of goodness, but if you're not on the field, the Royals are a rebuilding franchise. Do they want to commit money to a guy they don't know can stay on the field? They were even prior to the injury, they were already starting to say, Mondesi can't play every day. He's got to, play every, now and again, and so maybe they just go, listen, it's not worth the trouble. They now have Michael Massey coming up. They've got other guys in the minors that are going to be coming up. There's a chance he's non-tendered. And then what does he look like? What does Mondesi look like on a team that doesn't typically lead the majors in stolen bases?
That would be really, really interesting then if they decided
and is he a full-time player?
Pivot away from him. I mean, we saw KC this year saying that they weren't even going to try to push him full.
Yeah.
Because they realized the issues with Mondesi.
But he could turn into a Tyler Wade.
Oh my God, that's so gross. How dare you? He'll be 27 next year. He played 15 games this year, did Mondesi. It is like a worse Buxton situation, to be honest. He hasn't played as much. He hasn't shown, as much.
But he's shown the higher ceiling.
in the shorter sample, like that, like that September was literally game changing. Like he won leagues that year. So yeah, I hear that. All right, great talk there. That was our first topic, but these other ones are pretty quick. We're just talking about, but I think it's a worthy discussion
for everyone who's missed the marathon episodes where we went 4 hours.
Here we go. Yeah, exactly. Bryce Harper starting his rehab today. Nothing really there, just except informative for people. He got the thumb injury. We expect him to be awesome when he comes back. Yeah.
I mean, I would hope so.
He's having a brilliant season.
I'll be interested to see whether or not he can play the field. He hasn't played the field, and this is something I didn't realize until I recorded with Dave on the Friends Fantasy Benefits podcast last night. He hasn't played the field since like early April.
Yeah, because he spent a lot of time before going on the IL because he was nursing something else, right?
Yeah, I think it was some leg issues. So
I'll look up for specifics, but yeah, that is interesting.
Well, especially because I mean their defense is so bad,
unbelievably bad.
It's unreal bad. And Schwarber just came back. He was DHing. Now they're going to move Schwarber back into the field. I mean, they'll do whatever it takes to protect him, right? Because he is their long-term guy. So, but it makes that defense so bad with Nick Castellanos and Schwarber in the outfield. Brandon Marsh is on the IL. He was a guy that, played a really good defensive center.
Huge fit for them. For what they need the most. So
losing him is they picked up Bradley Zimmer off waivers just to cover some defense for them. So
that's not just poor man's Brandon Marsh. That's like man's Brandon Marsh.
Yeah, that's old school.
That's two of your faves right there, though. They're really trying to bring you over to be a Phillies fan. They're really catering to you.
I'm close.
Like, are you sure? You like Harper? Are you a Harper guy?
I am a Harper guy. Yeah,
so there you go. I mean, like, we got a superstar you like. I mean, you love Kyle Gibson.
Love Zach Wheeler.
People are like trying to get you over there.
People are all like, why are they building this team the way it is? And we're going to get Justin Mason and his T-shirts.
You're going to get a celebrity fan, exactly.
And I love the city of Philadelphia.
I do too, actually. I absolutely do. I'm not a fan of cold weather, as people know, but I was strongly considering moving there. My best friend lived there. I'd visited a bunch, and I was just kind of floating around a bit after college, and I was close to moving to Philly, but it's a good place. Breaking news. I don't usually get too goofy about Twitter and like Twitter follows, but Ricky Romero just followed me, and he was one of my favorite pitchers. Do you remember Ricky Romero?
Oh my God. I got him for $1 in my original home league. It was an AL only keeper. I thought he was going to turn into a star. It looked like he might, and then he just disappeared. Like, I don't even remember.
Completely health. Blew him up. He was out of the league by age 29. He pitched 7 innings at age 28. So he's basically effectively done. Then had so much upside. Loved him. One of my faves. And I just had randomly seen that he was on Twitter over the weekend, I think, because he had his bobblehead.
Ricky, come on. Follow me.
Well, are you following him?
I have no idea.
Yeah, so you should
follow him first. I am sure I am not following him.
He had a bobblehead giveaway this weekend.
What's his handle?
It's Ricky _Row 24. And over the weekend, they did his bobblehead. It was a 10-year anniversary of his bobblehead giveaway. And so I saw that went like a little viral, and that's how I saw it. Oh, Ricky Rose on Twitter.
I'm going to give him a follow, but this may turn into I had a beef with Jose Bautista
because he followed literally every. And now, in fairness, Ricky Romero doesn't just follow everybody.
No,
Jose Bautista followed everybody.
Yeah, and so back in the old days of Friends of Fantasy Benefits, we had like 5 of us who were like the main podcast guys, and he followed every single person on the podcast except for me.
It's all personal there, right?
It was personal. I even DM'd him like, "What's going on here?" Never got a response. And so I just turned it into a whole bit. I blocked him on Twitter. I was all like, "Nah, you're never following me."
You big man. That's hilarious. That's really, really funny. Well, anyway, sorry for that derailment there, but
that's Ricky Rose really important news for people's fantasy teams.
Yeah. Oh, that's really helping people's leagues there. Ricky Rowe doing his thing. Jordan Montgomery throws a Maddox. A Maddox has to be 99 or fewer, by the way. It's not 100 or fewer. 100 wouldn't have done it, and he got 99 on the
one hit away from a perfect game.
A perfecto.
Yeah.
Brilliant outing. He's been tremendous. Everyone could see this coming. Maybe not to this degree. Obviously, you never predict somebody to have like a, I don't even know what his ERA is with that 0.35 ERA, but everyone could see this could be a great fit for him, right? That defense, that park, he's a good pitcher, but it obviously is panning out brilliantly. I still cannot be convinced that the Yankees weren't trying to get Rodon or Pablo Lopez or whoever it was. I don't know. It doesn't matter, but it just feels like they traded him to open up a spot to get somebody else. Otherwise, the deal makes no sense to me. I'm sorry. It makes no sense that they would think that their pitching was deep enough that they could do that without having a reinforcement there. But Jordan Montgomery's been amazing in St. Louis. Obviously, he'll still be under team control next year. Is this flourish here, and especially if it continues and he has a strong September, is that pushing him up your board? Where do you view him right now?
I think he's going to be, and I don't want to say this in terms of like he's going to fall apart next year, because I don't think he's going to fall apart next year. But I think he's going to be like the Trevor Rogers in terms of draft helium.
Okay, yeah. You're not saying the result after the good season. But he's going to get pushed up into like the top 30, top 25.
I think he's probably a top 4-round pick next year.
I've got him as 47 right now in my most recent, and obviously I move up already. Yep.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think he's probably a top 30 pitcher next year. And you could not have asked for a better fit for, I know he really wanted to stay in New York.
Of course. I mean, the team raised him, right? Like when the team raises you, that's always going to be tough.
His, I think, either fiance or he just got married. She is a medical student, and she just got a residency, like a 2-year residency, and had accepted it for like Mount Sinai in New York City. Like,
is she sticking with it, or are they gonna go on?
I think she is.
It's a great opportunity for her. And
yeah,
do they have children? Do you know?
I don't believe so. I think they're still
that would make it easier then.
Yeah, but still, like that's like he didn't want to leave New York. He, if you read some of like his Instagram posts and things like that, like afterwards, like he was really disappointed. That being said, like he could not have ended up in a better spot. You have the best infield defense in all of baseball, and I don't think it's particularly close. You have a fantastic park to pitch in and a fantastic division to pitch in, with like multiple bottom feeder teams, and even all 4 teams. Like you're not scared of those offenses.
No, because even the Brewers.
And they've struggled right now. But
their offense is just, especially against lefties. So then you got Cubs, Pirates, Reds, maybe a little bit of trouble in the Red Stadium. But again, they don't have the offense to really punish. So everything sets up so well here for Jormont. I really, really like Jordan Montgomery. I think he's going to continue to do very well here. And like you said, pop up next year and be a very high pick. You have anything else on him before we move on?
Nope.
All right, let's talk about his competitor there last night, Drew Smyly. Hey, he pitched his ass off, but when your other guy gives up literally 1 hit, you don't have much wiggle room. So an Albert Pujols homer. I'm loving this, by the way.
Pujols is insane.
I hope he gets there, man. The schedule's been so favorable. It tightens up a little bit. It goes back to a lot of righties, but I still think there's a great shot for him to do this. But anyway, that homer was the difference. But Smyly pitched 7 strong, 4 hits, 2 walks, the 1 run, and 6 punchies. For me, I think for everybody, right? It's just if he's healthy. But other than that, he's healthy right now. Should Drew Smyly be on more rosters? Because I feel like he's on too many waiver wires for somebody who is finally healthy. And since the break, he has 1 dud. It was at the Giants. But even including that, he's 34 innings with a 2.38 ERA and 32 strikeouts. Should Drew Smyly be on more rosters in, say, 12s and maybe even some 10s as a spot starter?
Yeah, as a spot starter, as a guy who kind of team streamer, he's starting him. I mean, like we just said, that division is really, really bad. Like it's, and you can take advantage of the bottom feeder teams. And like he's not a guy who's gonna like win your league, but he's going deep into games. He is being very efficient. He's only given up 3 home runs in the second half, which is a huge drop off from the 9 in the first half. Like I said, he's healthy right now. Funny enough, so I'm in a dynasty league that I've been perpetually rebuilding for years now. And we have a really high innings limit that I hate. if my commissioner's listening, which I'm sure he is, please drop this insane innings limit down.
Well, you have to adjust with where baseball's at, right? Or else you're just going to have to get all these crummy innings off the wire.
1,600 innings.
Oh, that's way too high. I'm sorry.
Yeah, for a 16-team league, Jesus, like, and 6,900 at bats.
Wait. That's impossible. That's 178 innings per slot. How do you guys achieve that?
We don't, and you lose draft slots, like for if you don't make the innings limit. Like, it doesn't affect
anybody make it.
The winners of the
champion,
league,
yeah,
like it's
got 4 aces or something. Yeah, I'm sorry, that's terrible. You have to change that.
Like, I've literally been streaming like the worst. I'm rebuilding because I don't want to like have good stats, but I've literally been streaming like the worst possible 2 starts. And a while ago, I streamed Smiley. And then just stuck with him, but he's been actively like helping my team, which is actively hurting me.
Stop being good.
I think I might have even dropped him. Like, I was like, please just stop being good. Like, I can't do it.
I need the 5 innings, 4 runs, Drew.
At one point I had the entire Rockies rotation.
Now that's just gross. That's just vomit right there. But yeah, Smiley needs to be picked up. Check your wire. Team streamer. I think you can even go as shallow as 10s against some particular matchups. Edward Cabrera is not nearly as available for obvious reasons. My dude is on fire. Are you familiar with his scoreless streak right now?
I am.
It's up to 28 innings or 30 something innings. I'm going to get the number right now. I should have had it on hand, but I was looking at it this morning. He has 22 2/3 scoreless here in August since returning, with 8 hits allowed, 10 walks because he loves his walks. But if you don't give up any hits, I don't care about 10 walks, and 28 strikeouts for Edward Cabrera during this run. Justin, why is he 59% at Yahoo and 41% at ESPN? I mean, it's an all formats play right now. That can't be explained just by dead leagues. That's bad. That's a dereliction of duty by many leagues, in my opinion. What are your thoughts on Cabrera? He's pitching well. He's another one of these big time Miami prospects. He's surpassed Sixto in terms of interest because Sixto's health has been such a problem. Cabrera's had his own issues, but are you excited by this run? And is he somebody that you're going to be looking at next year as a real breakthrough candidate? Because it's still only 38 innings. You're probably only going to get another 30 or so. So it's going to be 60, 70 innings. Is that something that you're going to use as a case for a jump off for Edward Cabrera in 2023?
I think he's going to be like one of the most popular helium guys, and the walk rate
every sleeper list.
Yeah, the walk rate still scares the crap out of me. I mean, he had a 60% whiff rate on his changeup, and that's what he threw the most of
this morning. That was like nasty, dude.
He threw it more than any other pitch and had a 60% whiff rate.
Like, he was teasing the A's, dude.
But he still struggles with his own. The problem is when you can't hit anything, like, you're gonna start to reach because you just want to get a hit. And I mean, the A's especially just had nobody that could.
They're brutal.
Yeah, they're just awful. So
I told you they were going to be this year, and you were like, "No, dude, I think they
could be okay." I totally remember that's how it played out.
Yeah, that's exactly how it played. Don't check the tape. That's how it played out.
I think he is. One, being a little bit more aggressive in the zone, away from potentially being an ace.
Okay.
I do worry he's going to be on a bad team. It's a great park, but a bad team in a tough division, and that high of a walk rate. Like, I feel like over the course of time, he's going to have these huge. We saw it with Houston start right before this stretch.
Yes.
Where like he just got obliterated, and like those will be more often. Like, those will happen more often, until he quells a little bit of those walk rates. Because
let me ask you this then. With Edward Cabrera and that walk issue, as they get into a lot of divisional play down the stretch, which I'm sure they will, as the league always sets up to do, would you consider benching him against some of those high-end teams, the Braves?
I don't know how you bench him right now. Like, yeah. I mean, unless you're win seeking. Like, if you are like, I don't really care about strikeouts, I don't really care about my airway whip, like, I just need wins, they're not going to win a lot of games. Like,
true.
And
but even then, it's still hard to sit him.
Yeah, he did go deep into the game last night, but the previous start he was dealing as well. and he only went 4 innings. Like,
Yeah.
he's coming off an injury. They're gonna monitor him. Like, I can tell, if you're win seeking, he's a guy that isn't going to be as productive as you would like him to be, even though he is straight up fire right now.
Yeah, because the Marlins can't support Cabrera as much.
Mm-hmm.
And the tough part about him is those unforced errors. You talk about how well he was pitching at San Diego, but he had 91 pitches through 4.
Yeah.
And so he was getting, he's getting lucky to probably get in a lot of deep count at bats and then get out of them without walks or hits, because he only gave up 2 walks, 3 hits in the 4 innings. But again, 91 pitches really pushes it up. So Cabrera's got a lot to like. I understand the reasons that people will be excited. If they can improve their offense in the offseason, there'll be a lot more excitement around the win potential for those Marlins pitchers. But as it stands right now, you have to have some negativity for it.
He's going to be a top 5 round pick, I feel like. And it's
going to depend how September goes. And here's the thing. His next 2, Dodgers and Braves. 2 big challenges.
Yeah,
so like, see what he can do. He gets the Dodgers at home this week and then goes to the Braves for Edward Cabrera. You had to start him this week because it was at Oakland versus the Dodgers. For me, I would have easily done it just because I got to.
And really, even if he gets blown up, you still did pretty well because you got that 8 scoreless.
Exactly. It would take a pretty bad start for the Dodgers to ruin 8 scoreless. So I don't want to tempt.
If anybody can, the Dodgers definitely
Exactly. Domingo Germán out-duels Max Scherzer last night. It's not like Max was necessarily bad, but he certainly wasn't his best. And I would have had those lines reversed there. I would have thought that Germán was the one that would go 6 innings, give up 4, if not worse, and then Max would be the guy to go and give up 2 runs, 1 earned in 6 1/3, like Domingo Germán did. Neither guy struck out many. They both struck out 3, so that was uncharacteristic of both guys. But Domingo Germán opened with a dud. He got like the worst landing you can get going to Houston coming off the IL. Can't really hold that against him. He actually opened at Houston at the Mets. Welcome back to the bigs, Domingo. But he was fine in the Mets outing, and his 6 outings since that Houston start, 31 2/3 with a 2.84 ERA. Only 24 strikeouts, which is a little light for Domingo Germán there, but also a 117 whip and obviously a high win probability on the Yankees. What do you think of Domingo Germán down the stretch? And is he somebody that you'd be picking up in shallower leagues where he does still have a decent bit of availability? Or a lot of availability. I'm sorry, 21% Yahoo, 6% ESPN. Holy smokes!
Yeah, I mean, I think you have to pick him up. Like, I mean, did he leave the start early? I thought someone had said something about
last night
leaving. Yeah, but
now I'm not seeing or Twitter search real quick.
Not seeing anything on Twitter. So
I don't recall.
So maybe that was just someone. Maybe I misread something. But yeah, I mean, he's been fantastic since coming off the IL, and the Yankees need him.
Big time.
The Yankees, he bailed the Yankees out last night. Their bullpen is been awful and now injured with Clay Holmes and Scott Efros on the IL.
Mm-hmm.
Like, they really needed him to get some length against the Mets. He did exactly what he was supposed to do. He's been very, very good. Like, getting great movement on his pitches since coming back. I think they're going to ride him pretty hard, even though he's coming off of an injury and stuff. But because they have to.
Maybe they were just maybe the Montgomery trade was just a huge vote of confidence in Domingo Germán. I still
with Severino on the IL.
I know. I can't justify it at all. I can't.
There is no justification.
I thought it was a terrible move without getting another pitcher.
Like, it almost feels like Brian Cashman is addicted to injured outfielders because, they traded for a currently injured Harrison Bader. Harrison Bader's a good player.
I like Harrison Bader, but he's hurt, and we don't know. And we get excited about guys on their way back, and then things happen. Look at Wander Franco, right? He was coming back. Everyone was picking him up. Now he gets shelved and got to take a little bit longer with his rehab. So I hear you on that, man. It's like, why would they I'm sorry, I don't mean to belabor it, but I don't get that trade.
Yeah, I don't either.
I'm just not sure I can be convinced that a deal for another SP didn't fall through. All right, let's talk about some notable power outages this year and how you feel about them next year. And of course, there's a month left that could change things, so we leave that caveat out there in case there's a sweeping change, and then we say, oh, hey, they got the power back, now we're interested. If you make a comment where you're like, hey, I'm not interested in them next year, we know things can change. But these guys have struggled. People have felt it on their teams. First guy I'm going to talk about, though, is trying to turn the tide on it. And that's Nick Castellanos. He is minus 136 points in ISO. That is number one among qualified hitters this year. And it is 4 points clear of Joey Votto, who's number two, and 20 points clear of third place there. So Castellanos and Votto are kind of at the top there on their own ahead of Nelson Cruz, so we'll get to in a moment. So what I mean by Castellanos trying to turn the tide, better late than never, as they say. It is a clear power outage, though, too, because it's not like his batting average sucks. 267 is quite good. I know he hit 309 last year, and it's down from there, but 267 in today's game, totally fine. Castellanos has also thrown in 7 steals to try to make things a little bit better, but he has 12 homers on the season, Justin. However, 4 of them in August after a 0 in July, 320, 363, 533 in August. Of the guys that could hit like 10 the rest of the way, there's a handful that you could really see it. I think Castellanos is one of them. It wouldn't fully erase what he's done here because it would still only be 22 homers, but it would leave a sweet taste in people's mouths going into the offseason. Are you worried about this power outage from Castellanos? And if it doesn't change, if he just stays solid, but the power doesn't come all the way back, is he somebody you would take a discount on next year with Nick Castellanos? He'll be 31, by the way.
I mean, I'll probably take a discount because I've always been a Castellanos guy. But there are things that are super, super concerning in the profile. I mean, he's been a guy who's, usually been like a 10+% barrel rate. He is not even been close to that this year. And even in this hot stretch in August, it's still only at 6.9%.
That's not that nice.
It is not that nice. So, though what we do like is that he has moved away from what was like a higher ground ball to fly ball tilt this month, and he's starting to get the ball in the air, but he's also not pulling the ball. He's only pulling the ball 29% of the time this month. So he's kind of spraying it a little bit. He's hot right now. I think you ride with him right now. I think next year the discount better be huge.
And that's the thing. I doubt it will.
Yeah, I don't.
Let's give him 5 more homers the rest of the way. We'll say 17 homers for Castellanos in a full season. Let's even give him a little batting average love. Let's say he gets it up to.
He's hitting like 315 right now.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. So let's go 275. So 275, 17, and then somewhere in probably the 70s for the runs and ribbies. He's at 58 ribbies and 52 runs right now. I don't know if he'll score 18 the rest of the way, but let's just say 70 runs, 75 ribbies. So the output is light. 17, 75, 70, but with a 275. Where do you think that goes in drafts next year for Casty? Because that's a full season too. He's played every game but one. So you can't even say.
Do you see him like dropping out of the top 200?
No, then he has too many believers.
Like
way too many believers.
I love him, but
I think he'll be in the top 150.
Like, how different is he than David Peralta right now?
Right now, not much for Nick Castellanos. It ends up becoming, how much do you believe that this is, first year of a new deal? The 5/100 that he signed, was it an adjustment season that he comes back next year? I think for me, so let's get Castellanos' ADP this year in the main event. Castellanos was the 17th outfielder at pick 62 on average. Let's drop him 100 picks, just for easy math here. He would drop down to the 42nd outfielder, and that's where Jesse Winker went this year. Pick 163 or 162. That was the closest outfielder I could find 100 picks later. So that's Kelnick, Winker, Ozuna, Eddie Rosario in that range. Do you think he could drop that low?
All disappointing guys.
All bust.
Yeah.
Or do you think he resides a little bit higher?
I think he's going to reside a little bit higher.
I think so too. I think more like Bellinger, Yelich area.
And I just don't. He offers zero speed. Well,
wait.
Whoa, he stole 7 bases this year. He says he's all like, "Well, if I can't hit a bomb, I'm going to steal bases."
He's doing it. Is like, it's not to the same extent of Glaber, but it feels like that same thing. It's like, hey, I'm going to throw in some contributions on the bases randomly, and it is softening the blow here with Castellanos. But if he goes in the Yelich Bellinger range, now that was a range. Yelich went 100, outfielder 25. Bellinger was down at 33. The 33rd outfielder at pick 133. So about a 2-round range between Yelich and Bellinger. But I think he lives somewhere in that range for Castellanos. I'll tell you this. I would still pay it though.
Mm.
I think this is a down year. I don't think this is indicative of who he is now. He went from one great park to another. Remember when he was a Tiger, he always kind of fell short of expectations because of that park. Ever since leaving, he went to that Cub half season, killed it, dominated in Cincy, and I think he'll be fine. And he didn't even dominate in 2020 in Cincy. It was 2021 that he really crushed it. I think he adjusts this year and gets back next year. I'll buy Castellanos big time. I'm not even sure we get that much of a discount though. What if he just drops down to like 90, 95? Would you draft him there for Castellanos?
I'm going to have a really hard time drafting him in the top 10 rounds, honestly. I love Castellanos.
Not that much. You don't love that much then.
I was one of his biggest advocates.
I believe you, but you're breaking up with him then.
Yeah, I think
that's a good discount, man. I think if you get a 50 pick discount, it's 50 to 60, double his ADP.
I think it depends on your team context, right? Like, because we're not projecting, like, we wouldn't project him to get 7 stolen bases again. You're pretty much
next year.
You're projecting 2.
I don't care if he gets 5 more this year and randomly
and like
12.
What, a 280, 285 batting average, something like that.
That'd be huge.
If he is only gonna be a low 20s homer guy, like he's Charlie Blackmon.
That's the thing. Like I don't think he's gonna be though. I think this is an adjustment year. This 131 ISO is so far. This isn't even Tigers numbers, dude. This is rookie.
But even his hot streak, it's just a 150.
It's a washout year. I'm not worried. Okay, yeah, you're right. But it's also a 9% homer to fly ball rate. How much is simple bad luck? Do we have any overlays on some fly balls that, like, has anybody done a deep dive on, like, he has 9 fly balls that could have gone out or anything? I wonder
how much the deadened ball has.
That's what I'm saying. I think it's squish ball, and I think they are going to make an adjustment. They won't tell us anything about it, but I think there's no way they bring back the squish ball next year. This has been a nightmare. The summer has not fixed it, by the way, folks. Joe Sheehan's been on this 100%. If you read his newsletter, then you're fully abreast of this situation. But if not, A, go subscribe. It's very much worth it. But B, it hasn't gotten better in the summer. It got better a little bit compared to April because it couldn't get any worse, but it's still a dreadful offensive environment. And I wonder if Cassie's just getting snake bitten. The 9% homer to fly ball is very low.
Yeah.
And well off of his even Detroit norms. Again, he was double digits all throughout Detroit, then spiked up into the 20s with Cincy. Honestly, the more we get into it, the more I'm definitely buying Castellanos at really any discount. I'd buy him as high as pick 85 right now, I think.
Wow. I'm not going to be there with you. So
you're overreacting to 1 year, I will say.
I'm okay with that.
Okay, that's fair. I mentioned Votto and Cruz. We can kind of pair them together because are either of them going to be playing next year?
I mean, Cruz is still on. Both Cruz and Votto are still under contract.
But are they going to be playing? Do you think? I think Votto, yes.
Votto for sure will. Like
how bad is this injury though with Votto?
I don't know. He's got like 20 million
season ender. No, I know, but like he also
they literally
anybody
they may let him play first base on a gurney like in Cincinnati. Like you cannot not just play him if he wants to play. So and he just seems like a guy who loves the game. He
does seem like that, but he also seems like a guy who would give up that money if he's just not in it. If his heart's not in it.
Well, I think his heart's in it. I think it's his body that's not in it.
Depends on the rehab after the tear. Yeah, because he's had surgery now for a left rotator cuff tear. This is for Votto we're talking about. He's supposed to return sometime in spring. Oh, in time for spring training. Excuse me. I thought I said sometime. Yeah, so he'll be back for spring next year. He's making $25 million and actually has a team option for 24, but they would not pick that up unless he spiked another big year like he did in 20 or in 21, excuse me.
I think even if he does spike another big year, they're still not picking it up. It's the Reds.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. He would have to hit like 50 homers, and even then they would probably be like, well, I don't know about 50 homers.
We renegotiate this a little bit.
Yeah, they're going to pay in the $7 million buyout. So with that in mind, we believe that he will return, he being Joey Votto. Are you going to buy back? The price will be nothing. He'll be 39 years old.
Sure. In deep leagues, why not? Right? I mean, he's going to play every day he's healthy. He'll be, like you said, just about free. He's a season removed away from a big year. You can chalk a lot of this up to being injured. I would absolutely buy back because I think he'll be one of those guys you can get in 26th, 27th round of a draft, and
for sure.
In a 15 team, he won't even get drafted in 10s and 12s.
Yep.
You'll pick him up off the waiver wire. And I like taking the gambles with those guys because, like I said earlier, you can drop them if they're not doing anything. If
Absolutely.
they suck, you can just be like, okay, on to the next guy.
Yeah, first cut necessarily. You could be like, okay, Votto didn't make the grade for 3 weeks. I'm cutting him. And then maybe you pick him up down the line too. It's like one of those things where when you're cutting a late round guy like that, you might go back to him as well. So we'll see how it goes there with Joey Votto. Oh my God, I was going to say something else to you, and I completely lost my train of thought.
Nelson Cruz?
No, it was still something tied. I wish we could get a visual on how many people you're making cringe every time you say that somebody's going to be free. I've seen a lot of pushback on that.
You know what? Cliches are cliches for a reason. Screw you
on that notion.
Yeah.
I understand it though. I think the fantasy baseball community has pushed up what is free to too high a level. What you just said about Votto, totally.
He's gonna be free.
You're talking 20th something round pick, sure. But when I hear somebody who goes in the 16th round being described as free, I'm like, what are you talking about?
Yeah. Well, there are people who play in 6-person leagues, and that is free there.
Well,
as far as Nelson Cruz goes, though, I do need to correct myself. He has a mutual option for next year, which will not get picked up by the Nationals.
No shot.
This may be the end for Nelson Cruz.
I mean, okay, wait. Let me back up. He's cooked relative to Nelson Cruz. He's still almost a league average guy. He's a 94, which to his credit at age 41 is still pretty decent. So I want to put that out there with the age and body taken into consideration. He's now 42. This is his age 41 season. He's doing all right for that aspect, but he's a 90 WRC plus, 94 OPS plus.
In the zero defense. I mean, he cannot play defense.
Cannot defend. The boomstick is not there. 116 OPS plus. He also has ISO, 116 ISO. He also has a huge homer to fly ball dip, 12%. You got to imagine the ball playing a role there for Cruz too. I don't think he plays next year, so I'm not too worried. I'll assess drafting him if I need to.
He is hitting better in August. So he's in 273. He's got 2 home runs. 5 walks and 61 plate appearances. So, here we go. Little Nelson Cruz to win us some leagues at the end.
That would be amazing to watch him finish out strong. I'm looking to see here about retirement, and it doesn't seem like he has any interest. So if a team will sign him next year, now
why would he?
This was early season, this was winter of this year. So maybe another year, and he says no thanks. But if a team's interested, maybe we would see him. He would be a very, very, very cheap pick too. Nelson Cruz would, because you have to fill your util in fantasy as well. So again, you could almost get him for free. Would you say he would be free? Yeah, I was waiting. I knew you were going to do this. What were the other ones? It was Vlad's vote, right? So let's see if we can pull that up while we bring up our next guy here, who is going to be Jesse Winker. Now this one is pretty easy. It was so obvious, right? When he moved from Cincy to Seattle, I literally took him off my board, Justin. I had zero interest. Unless he moves out of that park next year, I'm still on the zero interest train with Jesse Winker. How do you feel? Yeah. I mean, not only are we worried about the park factors change, the playing time is going to be a real issue in Seattle. So but he's also a guy. Could he get non-tendered? I think he could. How much is he making this year? Do you have it offhand? I don't, but I can look it up real fast. I just think, with what they have in terms of J-Rod, I could see them going after another big free agent. Haggerty's playing well. Do you think they bring back Haniger? I just think they should. I've seen a lot of Haniger might be a free agent, honestly. That's what I said. Bring him back. Oh yeah, I've seen a lot of Mariners fans say they really want them to go after him. I think they'll give him a qualifying offer, and I think he would take that. Let's see. He's on a 2-year contract. He was making $17.25 million. 17.25. Okay. So, yeah. So maybe.
Can they non-tender him if they sign? I don't know that they can.
Does he still have? Hang on. Does he still have team control? No. Haniger's free agent, straight up free agent.
No. I'm talking about
Winker. Excuse me, Winker. I think he's not. Yeah, he'll be ARB eligible. So unless they want to avoid arbitration. Oh no.
No. He signed.
They've already got him for next year.
Yeah. But I'm saying, like, could they non-tender him? I don't know how that works.
I think it says avoided arbitration here on BREF, which makes me believe that if you already avoided arbitration on the 2023 deal,
so they can't non-tender. Yeah,
no, he's signed, but it's under 10 mil. That's a great deal. 8.3 mil for Jesse Winker. That in real life, that can't hurt you. Fantasy, that's a different story, but like that can't hurt them. He leads the NL or the AL in walks with 69 for Jesse Winker. So that's really nice. 344 OBP still, but a 365 slug, Justin. Even if the price drops further, I can't see myself taking him. Even if you guarantee me the playing time, I still don't think I'm interested in Jesse Winker.
I don't think I am either. And like, I mean, outside of like maybe
great player too.
On base percentage leagues, like
it's just the worst park for him to be in, dude. The worst.
And like I said, like they in AAA, their outfield right now is Kelnick, Kyle Lewis, Taylor Trammell.
You would think at least one of those.
One of them's got to emerge at some point, right?
Yeah. So J-Rod, one of them, and Winker, and then if they bring back Haniger, then it starts to really fill up. Do they have any other prospects of note that are in the outfield?
They traded a bunch of them. So
okay. So we'll see there. But even if you guarantee me the full time, or at least all the time against righties and some of the time against lefties for Winker, I'm still not interested. His power drop, by the way, I didn't say it, minus 111 points in ISO.
Ooh.
So this next one, I didn't bring this up to like Razzie or anything. I think he's been fine this year. But we knew Ced Mullins with that park, even though he's a lefty and it would hurt righties way more. I still would imagine he's probably lost a couple Oppo tacos. He has 11 homers, 25 steals. I see you flipping me off. Like, again, I'm not even roasting at all because he's been fine. And I bought back on him quite a bit in that second, third round range. 11 homers, 25 steals, 265 average. I am perfectly fine with what Cedric Mullins has done this year. The power outage, again, expected from a regression standpoint, that crazy wall, at least a couple homers maybe, and then also the squish ball. 86 points of ISO loss. How do you feel about your boy in his follow-up, Ced Mullins, and where do you think he'll be next year? Because obviously he won't be second, third round again. Do you think he's more like 5th to 7th? And if so, are you buying, et cetera, et cetera? What's up with Ced Mullins?
I am trying to bring up okay, so here we go. He has not lost a couple home runs.
Nothing. Okay.
He's not
an Oppo guy, so I'm not that surprised.
He hit 2 Oppo home runs last year. He's got 1 Oppo home run this year.
So take out number 2 there. So the wall change means nothing. So standard regression plus the swish ball. For Ced Mullins.
I think that's exactly what it is. But I also think he returned value, or is
exactly
pretty darn close to returning value. So he is, maybe he's a few homers light, but no more so than any other guy this year. Every guy outside of Aaron Judge, like Aaron Judge is single-handedly like pulling up the home run rate for the entire league. But like everybody else is down a few home runs this year. Cedric Mullins is kind of a, what did we say? Like he'll probably hit 15 to 20. Well, he's probably going to hit 15. But he's also going to steal 30 plus bases, hit, and I said prior to the season, he's going to hit 260. He's hitting 265 right now. Like I'm fine with what he's done.
His, and he's missed some time, right? Or not much. No, actually.
No,
he hasn't. They played what is that? 121 games. He's missed 5 games. That's 4 games. That's just random off days. But he's only 10 ribbies short of his total last year. So even though he hit 30 homers, he only had 59 ribs. Yeah. He has 49 this year. Obviously, the team's better. So yeah, I have 0 problems with Mullins. He's the 11th outfielder on the player rater right now. No issues. With what I've gotten there from him.
You gotten exactly what you paid for.
This is a guy, this next one is definitely a guy who fits your, Jonathan Scope, Jamer Candelario, squish ball can really hurt you. And that's Lourdes Guriel Jr. Love him, great player, but he doesn't have overpowering pop. And so when something like this happens, it takes his 190 ISO down to 107 and eats him alive. He has a 5% homer to fly ball rate, Justin, off of a 15% career mark. So he's definitely being eaten by the squish ball. I wonder, what the analytics look like on him in terms of potential home run balls that just died because of the squish. He's got 5 homers, 3 steals, 299 average. The average is there, but it's a little bit empty for Lourdes Guriel Jr. With the 83-point drop in ISO, how do you feel about Guriel? And is he somebody you'll be looking at next year if there's a discount? He's the 51st outfielder this year, by the way, ahead of Mark Canha, JD Martinez, Jock Peterson, and just behind Austin Hayes, Alex Verdugo, and Taylor Ward. This is on the Razzball Player Rater. Lourdes Guriel Jr., your thoughts, sir?
Oh, this one, it is definitely squish ball. Like you just, you go look at his hit spray chart over on Savant and see how many, balls are doubles that look like they're supposed to be over the fence.
Squish ball city.
I can see like 5 or 6. One's actually a single instead of a double, so it kind of threw me. So at least 6 homers that were taken away because of the squish ball this year. I think he's the guy that could be very, very interesting for next year, depending on what the ball looks like. But I think he'll be extremely cheap.
I agree.
And
he wasn't too expensive this year, so it would stand to reason that Lourdes Guriel Jr. would come at a fair price next year. He was the 36th outfielder, pick 139, which I thought was completely fair. I think that'll drop closer to the upper 100s, maybe even the early 200s, right?
Yeah.
I think he should be in the 200s because unless he has a crazy September, he's going to have like single-digit homers.
Yep.
So I think he will be underrated.
Where does he bat? In
True.
this lineup, I think how good that lineup is. Obviously, he's hit everywhere. Like, he's got 10 games batting first, 8 games batting third, 17 games batting fourth, 20 games batting fifth, 26 games batting sixth, 10 games batting seventh. Like he's batted up and down the entire lineup.
He really
all
has.
year.
Have you noticed how much better he's done at the lower end? That's probably just happenstance, but it is interesting.
Yeah,
his 2 best spots are the 7th and 8th spots. It's 103 total plate appearances. So
his 3 best spots 6, 7, 8.
Yeah. So there you go. Now he has been batting top higher in the order lately. This is Lourdes Guriel Jr. batting 1st and 3rd all of last week. Maybe some of that is just due to circumstance, though, and simply Bichette's struggles too.
And Springer's been hurt too.
Springer hurt. Yeah, Springer hurt. Bichette's ineffectiveness. Those are the 2 reasons there. Because Guriel, again, despite the power outage, you're still talking about a 351 OBP. And so you have no problem putting that at the top of the order. Get on base, let the other guys drive you in for Lourdes Guriel Jr.
The big difference is an 11% drop in homer to fly ball rate.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah, I was mentioning that out front. Like that's crushing. That's squish ball.
You look at the StatCast data, and yes, the barrel percentage has gone down, but that's because he's just not getting quite as much exit velocity on maybe some of his bigger hits
because of the squish ball.
His max exit velocity is just a mile an hour lower than it was last year. His average exit velocity is actually up a mile an hour from last year. His launch angle it hasn't really changed, but he has a low launch angle to begin with. So when you're not able to get as much velocity, you've got that lower launch angle to begin with. You're going to have more fence, the fence scrapers are going to hit the top of the wall as opposed to hitting or going over. I think this is, I think you're talking about a guy who could potentially, he's never going to be a mid-20s homer guy, but like next year he could be like a 15-5 kind of guy with a good batting average.
With a big batting average, tons of runs and ribbies on Toronto. I'm back in on Lourdes Guriel Jr. I'm with you, man.
I'm there,
I think he'll be a really good price too. The
batting average potentially be free.
The batting average will keep it from dipping too far, so it might still stay in the top 200. But I'll take anything. I'll take that price for sure. If it's like a 170 type price, I did find the Vlad Sedler tweet. It was hard, dude. He's been on a tweeting spree. I mean, he's a baseball guy.
I gave up because I would not.
I thought for sure I skipped it. I was scrolling down so far. So it's league winner. He's basically free. Smash spot. And it's not even close. Those were the 4. And
We
what
don't
do you think
do a
was the
lot of
winner?
league. I don't think
We don't do too much league winner stuff.
I'm gonna guess he's basically free was the winner.
That was actually the loser.
Wow. Okay.
That was my vote. And it's not even close. I'm very guilty of, and it's not even close. 32% won the poll there. Smash spot. I know I've heard that more in football.
It's gotta be a football.
But the league winner, he's basically free, and it's not even close. Todd added his own. You can't win a league in the first, but you can lose it. I hate that. No, you can't. No, you can't. You could draft somebody in the first round, kick them off your team. You can still win the league. It'll be hard.
We see it every year that, like people who win, like Phil Dussault, like he won the main event overall and had drafted Trevor Bauer in the first round. Like, I mean, he got nothing from the dude. And, and
it's just, it's so silly. If you ever find yourself blaming your season on one player being injured, just blame yourself. You had a bad team. Like, it's okay. We all have them, but one player, no matter what, did not hurt you, unless you're in the finals and so player made an error and you didn't win because of that. Then you can say that player cost you the title. Yeah. But other than that, shut the hell up. No, they didn't. And it's not even close. Javier Baez minus 82.
That advice was free.
That was absolutely free. Minus 82 on his ISO. Park, squish ball, suckiness. Where are you at on Javi next year, though? The Tigers are dreadful. I'm going to psych myself into thinking they can be better next year because I'm an idiot. 11 homers, 7 steals, 222 average. Where does Baez go next year? Does he even get drafted? No, I'm kidding. Yeah, but seriously, where does he go? He was 68th this year. Where are we dropping him to?
The hard part is like he's hitting 246. So like in the second
half,
that's
his OBP. Sorry.
No, in the second half he's hitting 246. However, it's only come with 2 home runs, 4 stolen bases. Like even when he starts making more contact, like here's the thing. He's this guy that could totally revert right back to the player he was prior to this year. Like
even with the Park.
Yeah, because I mean you watch him hit, and I know you watch him
I do every day.
Yeah, a lot more than I do. His hands are still fucking fast. Like he like, and you watch him play defense, like his hands are still fast. This is not a pure talent standpoint. This is obviously approach. And maybe the Tigers organization like sits him down in the offseason and works through some things. And like I could totally see him being a 2020 guy next year. If the price is cheap enough, and with how bad he's been, the price should be cheap enough.
Get down there, yeah.
I'll be back in. Like,
okay.
And I've never really been a Baez guy. Like,
I've never been a huge Baez guy either. Listen, I wanted the other shortstops on the Tigers. I'm not going to pretend otherwise. But when they signed him, I said, hey, this is still a premium player.
I thought it was a great
defense. And I thought the price was good too. I was like, hey, they got a little bit of a discount relative to the top market guys. You're still getting a brilliant defender, which is going to help the pitchers.
That's why,
and give me a little bit of hitting. Well, it hasn't gone that way.
And he's been healthy. Like outside, like Seager and Correa have not been healthy. I was like, I would much rather have the guy who profiles as at worst a really, really good defender that's going to play every day than a guy like Seager or Correa that,
has chunks of time.
Yeah,
and I get that. I totally get that.
Clearly, I don't know what the fuck I'm talking about.
Listen,
podcast with you and not like running an MLB front office.
Year one of a big deal, though, too. Yeah, that is literally the only reason. Literally the only reason. Year one of a big deal. So maybe it's just an adjustment period situation as well. While I've never been a Baez guy myself, I'm with you. I can see myself getting in. Let's try to ballpark this. Correa went 112 last year. His season wasn't nearly this bad, if I recall correctly. Yeah, it was actually quite good, and he was the 112 pick off the board because shortstop was so deep. So we got to go much further than that. Glaber, I mentioned how he shifted to some steals to cover his power outage. He went 152. I think his season last year was better than this Baez campaign. You look at O'Neal Cruz, he was everyone's favorite rookie pickup, 223. Is that as low as Baez goes, or does he get out of the top 200? Or do people say, hey, it's Baez, track record, blah, blah, blah?
I think he could get out of the top 200. So I'm in this 3-sport draft. We are
Mhm.
currently in. I know we're past round 50, but I can't. I don't know if it's. Let's see. Where are we at? It is. We're in round 52. He has not gone.
Wow.
So, and for context, I think I have drafted 23 players. So, and this is a 13 or 14 team league.
So even if you just do a rough 52 rounds divided by 3, because it's a 3-sport league, it hasn't probably gone that way where each. But let's just do the rough. That's the 18th round, and Javi Baez is still there. And at that point, we are talking like mid 200s pick, and that's where.
Oh, we there have been 288 baseball players taken.
Okay, there you go.
And he has not gone.
That's where Jeremy Pena, Isaiah Kiner-Falefa, our boy Jorge Mateo, and our boy Ha-Seong Kim. That's where they were going last year. Can Baez get that far in a pure baseball league too?
I have a hard time seeing it. Like
I do too.
But
I do think so. Glaber, I'm gonna lean on the Glaber one because again, he had a weird season and it dropped his price down to 150. I think that Baez can definitely be there. Anything past that, I think I have to get in if Baez is going outside the top 150.
Yeah. The thing is, he's only going to be shortstop eligible.
That will be a cut because he had second coming into this year.
Shortstop is so deep.
It remains deep, and Jimenez popped off this year. Pena, O'Neal Cruz. Now, has anybody fallen back that is really going to fall out of these?
Trevor Story fell back because
he'll fall back, but he's not going to drop out of the top like 10 shortstops.
No.
Like Baez is the only one that's going to drop out of the top 10.
Jazz Chisholm maybe drops out of the top 10.
He wasn't top 10. He was 12th.
Oh, that's right.
So you could drop out of the top 15.
Could Bogarts drop out of the top 10?
No. Well, he was 8th, maybe. But Correa and Seager will take their spots, like guys like that or whatever. So
I mean, let's do a quick would you rather for next year.
Here we go. Give me some.
Would you rather have Javier Baez or Trevor Story?
I'm going to go Story.
Okay. Would you rather have Javier Baez or Jorge Mateo?
I knew, dude, I wish I could have bet on that, dude. I would have got $1 jillion. I knew you were going to say him next. I knew it. I'm going to take Baez because they're the same player to me in terms of hitting, where they have these terrible OBPs. They have these hot and colds because they get too streaky. Mateo on a hot right now, doing his thing. I'm still going to lean Baez there because of his track record, but it's so much closer than I thought it would have been coming into this year. And I liked Mateo, as did you. We've always been Mateo guys on this show. So I'm going to lean, but I think they're close.
What about Josh Rojas?
Sneaky solid season, right?
And multi-positional eligible.
Yeah. Does he have outfield as well or just infield stuff?
On the Razzball Player Rater, he does, but I'm going to double check what he's got. What he'll have coming. What he'll have
next year. Yeah.
So next year he will probably only be third base.
Ooh, so he's lose.
In some formats he'll have second. Yahoo off second. But it seems unlikely he's going to get second for 20 game minimum.
So 717 for the homers and steals for Josh Rojas. That's pretty strong. And it's 11-7 homers and steals for Javi Baez. Batting average has him crushed 286 to 222. And he's played less time that has Josh Rojas. I got to be honest, man. I think I might take Rojas ahead of him. Alex Chamberlain, you're welcome.
Yeah.
Send me my $1. He pays you $1 every time you pick Josh Rojas in a Would You Rather.
I offered him a trade for Rojas, and he was all like, sorry, I can't do it. I was like, yeah, no. Nah. Okay, last one. Jeremy Pena.
That's a good one, too, and I thought you would include him. I wasn't as dead set on as I was on the Mateo one. He's hit the wall, like rookie wall. Welcome to the league, big dog.
Oh, 16 so homers. Injuries, yeah.
Yes, and that's part of it, too. 16 homers, 7 steals, but a 246, 287, 418 line. I like Pena. I'm not out because of this, but I'm going to lean Baez there.
Who?
Actually, man, I don't know.
I don't know that I will.
And your little foof made me reconsider instantly.
Yeah, I don't think I would. Honestly, I think I'm taking all these guys over Baez.
I'm not against it.
Yeah, Mateo is leading the majors in stolen bases.
Like, I know, but you know with that OBP and that strikeout rate that it could really crater.
Absolutely.
But he's your boy, so I get it. Like, we've been promoting him.
I can't since New York.
Well, since New York, prospect days with New York goes out too. But Oakland's when I really latched on. So I'm gonna be true to my word there. Oakland is when I became a Mateo man.
Yeah, I've been a Mateo guy from Jump Street. Which is crazy. I didn't get him in many leagues this year. But
he was free. Yeah, you idiot.
Yeah, I know.
Why didn't you get him?
I should have. I just didn't see I didn't see the path playing time. Honestly, but I should have. I absolutely.
Yeah, you absolutely should.
Honestly, one of our listeners clued me in late on draft season. He goes, "Why aren't we talking about Jorge Mateo again?" And I was like, "You know what? You're right." True. And I can't remember who it was to give you a shout out. I wish but he was like, "We should be talking about Jorge Mateo." I was like, "You're right." And so my last few DCs, I did grab him. And then I picked him up off the waiver wire, when he started, playing regularly.
The comp I really liked was just seeing him as the VR when VR went out to Baltimore.
But he should have been this year's Cedric Mullins. Like, he should have been on that type of. I didn't do that article.
So that's what I was going to say. And you should have done that. And I know you.
I will do it. I will do it in the future. Yeah.
Again, Vlad has this year's Yelich. You should have this year's. Like, it's a great conceit too. Like, I don't think you'd be overdoing it to do that. But anyway, what is it with your Baltimore breakouts that you hype them but you don't draft them? Because you didn't get enough Mullins last year, right? You didn't have him on either main, and he was your dude.
Yeah. Well, what happened, I think, with Mullins, what it was people knew he was my dude. So people because I got him. I mean, he was my most rostered player last.
Yeah. No, you still had him on a ton of leagues, but you didn't have him on your big dollars.
On my main, like, everybody went, okay, if I believe what Justin is saying, then I've got to go inside the top 200 in the main, and they did, and I was like, well, this is bullshit. He's supposed to be mine. I peed on him. I claimed him.
I put in a claim via urine.
I licked the Mullins. He's supposed to be
mine. It's mine. Yeah, you do. Yeah. Come on. You don't want to pick that up after I licked him. Come on.
Yeah.
No, that's fair. Yeah. That's fair. I will say that the guy that we said to cut ended up being a really stupid idea. But on April 22nd, when we were doing some shallow league cuts, which the caveat on that episode was, hey, you might come back to these guys down the road. Yep. It's very early to cut them. But we suggested maybe cutting Dansby Swanson for Jorge Mateo and Jeremy Pena. So, like, if you got Pena and Mateo, not bad, but we did suggest cutting Dansby Swanson on April 22nd. That's the problem with early season cuts and early season content. Like,
that's brutal.
And that's why I throw out so many caveats, though. He was hitting 157, 232, 235.
He was brutal to start.
It was unbelievably brutal, but it's not a big enough sample.
He's going to be a top 10 guy. He'll be a top 10 guy.
He's taking a top 10 spot for sure.
Tim Anderson maybe drops out of top 10.
Yep. Yep.
So,
all right, last two guys here, both with a 72-point dip in ISO. Different profiles, to be sure. I think one is definitely a squish ball. He never had the overpowering power to get there. That's Max Kepler. So I think he's just being affected by it. But one of the guys that I could have told you there was a squish ball. You say, hey, JD Martinez has power to succeed in any environment. And then turns out that would have been incorrect because he's lost something this year. Is it just age getting him? He's 35 now. This is his age 34 season. We've seen another precipitous drop in homer to fly ball rate from 16% last year, halved down to 8% this year. It's a 158 ISO for JD. Is he just a squish ball candidate as well? As I'm looking it over, I can only think that of JD, that it's squish ball.
Yeah, I'm gonna look up his spray chart real quick, but that's what it feels like.
He does have a 6-point drop in hard hit rate, but the barrel rate is dead even. I mean, it's literally 0.2 difference, 12.4 to 12.6. We would round it and say 12 versus 13, but it's not that big of a difference. I mean, there's small dips on his exit velo and his max exit velo, but not enough to account for this power outage. It has me leaning squish ball on JD as well.
Yeah, but it shouldn't, like, he shouldn't be that guy. Oh my God. Yeah. Okay. Spray chart. Go look at his spray chart over on Savant.
All right.
And see how many home runs should be home runs.
How many hits should be home runs, but they've been eaten up?
Yeah, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11.
Are you serious?
12, 13. I'm counting upwards of 13.
Oh, I see all of those. Yep.
Oh my God. Like, yeah. Okay. Yeah. Squish ball.
All day. So we buy him back. Go ahead.
Question is where he ends up next year.
Exactly.
He's not going to be in Boston. At least I don't think he's going to be in Boston.
He will, however, be outfield eligible for a second straight year,
which is nice.
JD Martinez we're talking about, by the way.
I definitely want to see what park he goes to, and I want to see where he falls in terms of his ADP. If he's outside top 150, I'll take a gamble for sure.
I would too. Yeah. On JD Martinez outside the top 150, I'll tell you where he went this year. JD was a 97 pick. He could easily drop 50 picks. He might drop a little bit more than that. I don't think no 200s. I don't think. I think it'll be more in that. It
depends on where
range.
He ends up. Like,
That's true.
Wasn't there a lot of talk that he could end up in Miami?
I think is he from that area?
I want to say
he's a Florida guy. Yeah, he went to Nova Southeastern University in Fort Lauderdale.
So I think there was some talk he could end up
born there.
Yeah, so I think there was some talk he could end up in Miami. Like that would not be a great park for him.
True,
or a great team context.
They're on the come up though. If they got him and traded a pitcher for another big offensive piece, I'd start to have a little confidence in them. I'm a little biased toward the Marlins. I'm playing my out of the park 23 Marlins rebuild, and it's been amazing. So I know every Marlin, and now when they have like random middle relievers come up, I remember them from my sim, and I'm like, yo, Andrew Nardi is a stud. But then I look at him in real life, I'm like, he's fine. He's just kind of a run-of-the-mill reliever. But if JD went there, and like I said, they traded a starter for another hitter, they get Jazz back. I'm a big JJ Bleday fan. They got a few other pieces there. I don't know. It's not going to be a great offense, but if they can improve the offense a little bit, I wouldn't hate that. JD as a 150 type pick. That's where for outfielders this year who went in the main event, 150-ish was Seiya Suzuki, Chris Taylor, and then we get back into that group I mentioned earlier with Kelnick, Winker, Ozuna. So JD around there. Mountcastle was pick 149. You think he can fall down that far? Or not that far. That's a 50 pick drop. I think
he could for sure.
Pretty fair.
People are gonna look at ageism. People are gonna be like,
True.
"Oh, power adage."
Maybe 35.
Especially he's gonna move off. More than likely, whatever team he moves to has a worse offensive context with the team around him. I think Martinez ends up being a discount next year. I think one I'm willing to take.
Yep. I'm in on JD. And Max Kepler, again, he's always just been confounding because for years also he's had those low BABIPs that you're like, if he could just spike a good BABIP, but then you look at his profile and like he doesn't get good BABIPs because he's a fly ball machine. Well, if I had told you this year, hey, he's going to drop his fly ball rate, he's going to have a 46% ground ball rate, surely that will send the BABIP up. It's 246. It's right in line with what he always does. So it's not just a fly ball, ground ball thing with him. I don't know what it is. I love the plate skills. He doesn't strike out too much. Kepler doesn't. And he's a 10, 11% walk rate guy. He has 9 homers though, Justin. What is it with Kepler? Why isn't he better than these core skills suggest he could?
6 of those home runs came in the first 2 months of the season. He has not hit a home run in the second half.
Jesus.
I think he's been dealing with injuries.
I was about to say, he's also had injuries pretty consistently.
Through May 29th, which was right, he had his first injury of the season. Didn't keep him out for very long. But he hurt himself running to first base on May 29th.
Hurt a quad, right?
Yeah. So prior to that, he was hitting 247, 353, 425, 6 home runs, 2 stolen bases. So fine. Like right kind of like right. 16% strikeout rate, 12% walk rate. And then everything fell off the map from there on out. So you got to wonder how much of it's injury, to his, benefit. He's still a fantastic defender.
Mm-hmm.
So he will be free next year. Right. So he's going to be one of those guys that will be free.
Vlad's going to kill you, dude. You are getting murdered by the Roto guy.
But he will. He absolutely will.
Let's contextualize it real quick. He was 291 this year. So yeah, he's going to drop from
he's
that.
already good. He was already close to free.
Again, what we mean by free, obviously, is just a late pick that can't really hurt you. It is a bad terminology because, again, it gets pushed up too high. I hear people getting taken, pick 160 being called free, but a 300 type pick, I understand the notion.
I totally get it, because anytime I read a sleeper article and I start seeing, oh, this guy's a sleeper, he's going just inside the top 100. It's like, that's not a sleeper.
Like, wait, what?
That's
a breakout pick. And there are differences, and I know it's like a semantic game, but like sleeper for me, your ADP has to start with the 250 at the highest for me to be a sleeper for me. For 15 team leagues too. We also play deeper leagues, so keep that in mind. But I don't think there's any league context outside of like a 6 team or 8 team, which I'm not bagging those.
Top 150, even in a 10-team league, is the 15th round. Like,
exactly.
Anybody going in the top 15 rounds is not a sleeper. Like,
that can be a potential impact player. So, so you will buy Kep Dog on that.
I've always been a Kepler guy. Like, I just think he's he's got so much talent underneath. He just hasn't put it together. I think he's one of these guys who's going to have a late career breakout.
I agree.
Remember, he, like Lorenzo Cain, he was a guy that, started playing baseball late because he's from Germany. He didn't, play growing up. Didn't really pick it up till the end of high school. I think he's one of these guys that I will continue to be Charlie Brown trying to kick the Max Kepler football until he retires.
I mean, hey, we were rewarded in 2019. We got 36 homers, 90 ribs, and a 252. So it's not like he's never given us some fruit. And because Max Kepler is always well priced, even these seasons like last year, the double-double, 19 homers, 10 steals. The 211 average was bad, but 19 and 10 was fine. The 20 homers in 2018, 19 in 2017. Like, he's always delivered something, but I'm with you. I'm waiting for that.
Yeah, I do think there is a massive year at some point. No joke. Like, he's hitting 143 in the second half or somewhere around that. I can't remember exactly off the top of my head, but I almost picked him up. 138 with 0 home runs, right?
I cut him in our main, by the way.
He was on the waiver wire in our main, and I went.
Yeah, I'm the one who did that.
I almost picked him up this week. I instead got Akil Baddoo, who's been hot as of late. Spent only $2. Can you imagine that?
That's how much I bid.
Oh, is it? Oh, I tied with someone. That's true. That was you?
Me. Oh. But then you got him because your team sucks and I'm in second. That's right. That's fair, though. That's fair. Give you a little token courtesy there. Hey, I got to defend myself because you smoked me, dude. I'm like tied with him for Baddoo, and it had to be Justin of all people.
I didn't even know who you were referencing because I hadn't seen yet. Like,
I just sent you you son of a bitch,
and I was all like, what's he talking about? And then I saw that I tied with someone on Baddoo, and I was like, Baddoo.
You knew. Yeah, $2 we both tied there. Kepler ended up going for 15 with a 9 backup. I totally get buying back in. I had to move on though. I'm chasing more steals than anything else offensively, and my batting average too. So I needed to get rid of him, but I will buy back next year. So those are some guys: Nick Castellanos, Joey Votto, Nelson Cruz, Jesse Winker, Ced Mullins, Lourdes Guriel Jr., Javi Baez, JD Martinez, and Max Kepler. We're buying back on a lot of those profiles, depending on where their prices go. Of course, September could change things, and maybe we'll revisit some of these guys in the offseason to say, hey, they had a huge September or they had an even worse September. Are we changing things? But great discussion there. Justin, good talking with you. We'll be back on. Oh, actually, we will not be back on Friday. I am going out of town, so maybe we can discuss recording on the Thursday. If not, then you pick up on the weekend and we'll meet next week. So we will discuss that and then post on Twitter what our plans are. Okay. If you can't do Thursday, that's totally fine. I can do I did a solo up yesterday. I got I'm doing a Thursday guest episode with Sarah Langs.
Oh, nice.
So that could operate as the Friday app.
Okay, yeah, that'll probably have to because unfortunately my Thursday kind of booked.
That's no problem at all. And then we will be. Are you going to go Sunday? Do you know yet with Jason?
Yeah, we should be going.
Okay,
Sunday.
Good. So we'll have.
Oh, actually, episodes. No, we are not going Sunday. It's my eldest's birthday, and Jason's out of town.
So well, we will still have 2 episodes left this week because I will do a solo either Wednesday or record one Thursday to release Friday. So we'll have the Sarah Langs episode and a solo, and then we're good. So you guys will still get 2 more episodes this week. Justin, great talking with you. Talk to you later.